Okay, today we're going to be reacting to Blizzard's is worse than you thought by Big Boss. I'm reacting to this because if you saw the meme about Under the Rock, well, that's how I got here from Twitter. Alright, let's begin.
Here is 2023, and a once beloved game developer's reputation is in absolute freefall. What was at one point
Yeah,
probably the highest
2023 was
rated
a pretty
developer in the
bad year for
industry,
them, so.
a studio that pumped out classic after
But
classic,
even
has now become
2022,
the
I don't think
home
was
of
too hard either.
incomprehensible horror.
Oh yeah, then yeah,
Corporate
those
greed,
allegations.
broken
Okay.
promises, botched releases.
Yeah,
stubborn play.
Overwatch was a bit
This
highly
is the story.
disappointed as a player who's played since like the beta until like the original season, I think 15, 18, something like that. But like after like Bridges came out and with like all the different shields and stuff, is like too much.
Of Blizzard Entertainment.
That game got butchered. Yeah,
The year is 1991, and three guys have just graduated from the
my bad. And for me, my Blizzard experience is mainly Overwatch and Diablo 3, which I got platinum. That's what I can think off the top of my head. I think there's like one or two more, but can't remember.
University of California. Alan Adham, Michael Morhaime, and Frank Pierce. They get together to create a game development studio in Irvine called Silicon and Synapse. The name is deeply philosophical and well thought out, with Silicon representing the building block of a computer and Synapse the building block of a brain.
Okay.
However, people keep
I
mistaking
didn't know
the silicon
about that by
part for the
Synapse.
material in breast implants. Anyway, they
Yeah,
spent the first 2
wait,
years porting games to different
I thought he was gonna say about the Silicon Valley. I wasn't expecting that.
systems,
That's
but
crazy.
soon begin producing their own original games, with The Lost Vikings in 1992 and Rock and Roll Racing in 1993. Eventually, they get sick of constantly being mixed up with women's breasts, so they decide to switch things up, changing their name
Wait.
to Chaos
There's no way that's a joke. Wait, there's no way that actually happened.
Studios. However, a company based in Florida already has the trademark, and are now asking for $100,000. They then decide to change the studio's name to Ogre Studios. But in 1994, they're
Ogre
acquired by a
Studios.
holding company for a few $1 million. And turns out, their new owners
Damn.
aren't a fan of the new name. Okay,
Okay, who
so they flip through
would
a
be, to be
dictionary,
honest? Like,
and oh my god, there it is. In 1994, Blizzard releases their first self-published title, a real-time strategy game called Warcraft: Orcs and Humans, and it's an instant success. It's one of the earliest real-time strategy games to hit shelves, and it's a blast. It also has a modem and LAN multiplayer, meaning people can get together and go ham.
as they would
And the
say, it
game
was
does well,
revolutionary.
selling 100,000 copies in the first year. And for the first time, Blizzard Entertainment is
I think that's pretty good for that time.
Albion
100,000.
Online is a sandbox MMORPG in which you write
See,
your own story.
I supposed to create it, so I
Following a
react to
laid-out path,
what you do.
explore around
It's
They follow it up with Warcraft 2 in 1995. It's another home run. Critically acclaimed, and now selling over 1 million copies in its first year.
oh damn.
Nice. It's now 1996, and a company called Condor Games is looking for a publisher for their nearly complete game.
I think
Diablo.
I've
Blizzard has a little look, and they like.
I've heard
So
of
they
Condor
buy them
before.
and rename them Blizzard North. It's also at this point that Blizzard notices something. Warcraft 2 had picked up a lasting online player base, mostly through third-party networks that connected players over this magic new thing called the internet. So they decide to make their own, Battle.net. Its original functionality is very simple, with the ability for players to chat to each other and search for a match. But on December 31st, 1996, it launches alongside Diablo, and people log on and play. Diablo is a massive hit, also selling over 1 million copies within its first year.
Damn.
In 1998, Blizzard
Hey,
launches StarCraft,
1998 when I was born.
an RTS set in space. It sells bigly and quickly grows a massive esports scene. Diablo 2 launches in 2000, another smash hit. It reaches almost 3 million.
I had wait, let me see that.
It sells bigly and quickly grows a massive esports scene.
Oh yeah, I
Diablo
heard about
2
the
launches
leak
in
for
2000,
StarCraft.
another
Surprisingly.
smash hit. It reaches almost 3 million sales by the end of the year.
I didn't really play
becoming the
Diablo 2, but
fastest
I've
selling
always heard
PC
like
game of
amazing
all
things
time.
about it.
In
For at least the best
2002,
one.
Warcraft is back, and now it has an extra dimension. Warcraft 3 sells 1 million units in just 1 month, immediately becoming the new fastest selling PC game. It also releases with a campaign editor, which spawns a series of popular mods like Defense of the Ancients. And after its expansion in 2003, it's all hands on deck for Blizzard's next project.
Bruh.
The year is 2004, and Blizzard is getting ready
Okay,
to
early
release its biggest
2000s.
game yet. They'd seen how big MMOs like EverQuest were getting and thought they'd try their hand. And after $60 million and 5 years of work, it's finally nearing
Wait,
release.
like as a budget to spend 60 mil? How did they get that if they're only pushing like 1 million units?
And
Oh,
in
actually no,
November
that's when they first released the game. Okay, so
2004,
they probably showed more between
World
that
of
and the 5 year.
Warcraft launches. And it takes the world by storm, smashing even Blizzard's forecasts. There are so many players trying to log on in the first week that their servers have a complete meltdown.
Oh,
With
I
server
actually
queues
didn't know
reaching
there was
the
a
thousands.
transition for
Get past
World
the
of
queues
Warcraft
and
from
actually
becoming
into a
MMO.
game.
I thought it was
Well,
like
now
always
you're greeted
was.
with a ton of latency issues and a probable disconnection, meaning you're now back on that queue screen.
Yeah, honestly, like these issues is still nothing new. Like it's still having some money games, so.
After the initial server problems are ironed out and people can actually play,
And sometimes they don't
the
even
game
get
sucks
ironed out
people
in
in
the
en
newer
masse.
games.
Fans are very enthusiastic. It hoovers up awards left, right, and centre, and
Yo,
sells a ton
those
of
mics are
copies,
crazy.
reaching almost 6 million sales by the end of its first year. World of Warcraft isn't like your average game though. Instead of simply buying a copy, players have to pay a $15 monthly subscription fee to play. 6 million times 15 every month. And Blizzard isn't doing too
Yeah,
badly.
that
Everyone is
monthly
playing
fee
the
is
game,
crazy, though.
and its ads go on to feature a ton of celebrities.
And then
I'm
you have the
Chuck Norris,
DLCs
and I
too.
approve this game.
And others like Vin Diesel, William Shatner, Henry Cavill, Mila Kunis, and Dave Chappelle announce their addictions in various interviews. World of Warcraft.
I feel like most of them
is
didn't probably even play the game, to be honest, but that's just my speculation.
World of Warcraft would also result in the launch of BlizzCon in 2005, a massive annual convention.
Honestly,
that would
even though
feature
I'm
big
not really
musical
like a
acts
big
and
Blizzard guy,
announcements for
I do
Blizzard's
want
future
to
games.
go to like
Fans
BlizzCon
could
at least
also
once.
ask
I'm just
in-depth
curious,
questions,
like what the
and were
vibe is.
sometimes even featured. At this point, Blizzard is among the all-time greats of gaming. Every game a smash hit. They
Wait.
could do no all-time, sometimes even featured. At this point, Blizzard is among the all-time greats.
Okay, when and how is like EA here like this? Because when I see EA, or I think about EA Sports, FIFA.
Of gaming. Every game a smash hit. They could do no wrong.
I actually do that like pose with my glasses, like
But first,
probably way too
flying
often.
a plane is easy. Just get in, flip a few switches, and you're off.
That video was in reverse.
But in War Thunder, it's
Wait, I have to hear that again. Turn.
off. But in War Thunder, it's even easier. And a ton of fun. Jump into intense PvP that takes you from the ground to the sea.
Ah, yes,
all
Royal
the way
Thunder.
to the skies. In fact, War Thunder is the most comprehensive vehicle combat game of all time. Just look at all those things. There's more than 2,000 of them. Someone that likes the small and agile, or a fan of the more voluptuous? Well, War Thunder has something for everyone. The game is deep indeed, with a dynamic damage system that damages individual
I think War Thunder is
opponents and a
is there
huge
free game? I think it
customization
is.
system. Hundreds of camos, historical emblems, and over a century of vehicles to pick from. And their models, painstakingly detailed to 100% accuracy.
It'd be crazy
which
if
you
War
can
Thunder did
enjoy
a
in
collab with
gorgeous
like
4K graphics.
Star Wars or something.
And you can play on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
Like Star Wars stuff will
free.
probably just be like
Fancy a
skins,
large
but
bonus pack with all
that
this stuff?
that probably
Just sign up through the
get
link in
more
the
people in.
description or the pinned comment.
all I'm curious
below.
about. But I think like War Thunder is like a dedicated like hobbyist game.
The year is now 2006. World of Warcraft has almost 10 million active subscribers and is bringing in a ton of money. So
Wait.
naturally,
10 mil active subscribers, so like, what's that? 10 mil times 15? God dang.
it turned a few heads. One of those heads, Bobby Kotick, CEO of Activision. Now in 2006, Activision had made good tracks in just about every genre of games, except one. And one that was now booming, the MMO, with Warcraft currently bringing in over $1 billion a year in subscriptions alone.
So I guess he's going to talk about the merger now.
Now at this point, Blizzard has changed hands numerous times, and is now owned by a company called Vivendi. So Kotick approaches Vivendi with a proposition. Vivendi receives money, Activision receives Blizzard.
I find a lot of
However,
people like blame
Vivendi says no.
Activision
Instead,
for the downfall of
Vivendi
Blizzard,
offers
so
to merge
see
their
how
gaming
this video
subdivision with
explains
Activision,
it.
with Vivendi owning a majority share in the resulting company. And after a brief hesitation from Kotick, in 2008, the deal closes. Activision Blizzard opens its doors with Kotick as CEO, and Activision and Blizzard now its two subsidiaries. Blizzard would supposedly retain most of its autonomy and keep their CEO, co-founder Michael Morhaime. It's now 2010, and Blizzard has gone from just under 500 employees before the launch of World of Warcraft to now over 4,600,
Wow.
the majority of whom are preparing for the launch of StarCraft 2 in July, and the third major Warcraft expansion, Cataclysm, in December. Now these launches were not small.
If that was
Warcraft
the
had been
actual
hitting
picture side by
peak
side,
after
that's pretty
peak of
cool.
players, and was now at 12 million monthly subscribers, and StarCraft 2's sales projections are also sizable. But Blizzard currently has a problem. Their forums. They're a little bit toxic. Blizzard has a big team of moderators, but according to them, this still wasn't enough. So behind the scenes, they get brainstorming, and someone has a brilliant idea. How
Couldn't
about
they
we
just put, like,
force
filter
everyone
blocks?
that posts on our forums to use their real first and last name? Genius. And in July 2010, Real
Wait,
ID
how did
is
they do
unveiled.
that?
And people absolutely hate it.
But like, how would
So
it
in an
know
attempt to
if
sell
it's
the
your real
idea to
ID?
players, Blizzard's community manager posts his full name on the forum. See guys, it's fine. But almost instantly, people descend on the forum and get to work. And within mere minutes, they find and publish his home address, phone number, age, Facebook,
Yo.
family names, and a list of his favourite music and movies. Okay, you know what? Fair enough. And after just a few days of being announced,
Damn.
Real ID is scrapped entirely. By 2009, the Warcraft
But that's kind of like the funniest thing I've ever heard of, like a mechanic of a game just getting scrapped. Like that's a legendary moment.
remod Defense of the Ancients had gained a significant following, and had even spawned a whole new genre of games, MOBAs. For much of that time, Blizzard had paid little attention to the mod or the game, but the success of the recently launched League of Legends could no longer be ignored. And
Wait,
Blizzard finally
was that a
steps
mobile
in,
game?
starting work on their take on the genre, titled Blizzard Dota. Around the same time, and Valve wants to make their own MOBA. They'd hired the head dev of the original Dota mod, snapped up the Dota trademark, and they're calling their new game Dota 2. Blizzard is furious. So in 2012, they file a statement of opposition.
Oh, I thought Dota and
arguing
Dota
that the
2 was
name
like
Defense of the Ancients
the-
was associated exclusively with Warcraft due to
well,
it
I'm
being
global
made in their
last year.
map editor. However, this argument has issues. See, the mod was created in Warcraft 3's map editor, but that map editor had no specific terms and conditions on ownership of said maps, IP, and concepts. They end up settling out of court a few months after, with Valve getting the commercial rights to the term Dota, and Dota 2 releases in 2012. It's massively successful,
okay.
and goes on to be an esports giant. Blizzard gets non-commercial use of the title for its community, and renames Blizzard Dota to Heroes of the Storm, which releases in 2015,
Oh, okay.
and support is canned 3
understand
years
now.
later.
This the earlier name thing kind of threw me off. I think I need to like watch Doom or like something because I want to know like why is it so hyped.
Blizzard would change its licensing agreements for all future games to include their ownership of player-created maps in an attempt to avoid this ever happening again. It's 2012, and the massively anticipated sequel to Diablo 2 is looking like it's releasing this year. Its development had been a bit rocky, with its dev
Diablo
team,
3.
Blizzard North, being canned in 2005.
I played like way after it originally came out, but
on the 15th of May
so
2012, the rebooted Diablo 3 launches.
I played when
The
like
game
the Necromancer
is
thing was a thing.
For one, its launch is horrific. The game is online only, and turns out there are massive server issues.
I see like the online
People are
only
spamming
thing.
their login details
Developers need
over and
to
over,
stop doing
only
that,
to be kicked
especially
out
if it's
by
like
Error
not like
37.
a
What's
like
worse,
an MMO.
there's
Like,
no
it's just
queue
unnecessary.
system in place, so you have to manually retry every minute. This issue takes over a
Damn.
week to fix. Then there's the
At that point in time, they should have
Here,
like
loot can be bought and sold.
queue systems and stuff. Oh, I always hear. I never used the auction house, so I was just like playing the game to get like enjoy it, and then later on get plat. So I never really touched the auction house.
Using your mum's credit card. Activision Blizzard gets filthy rich, while the balancing gets obliterated. Endgame content is also essentially non-existent. However, the game sells almost 4 million copies in its first 24 hours, and over time, slowly makes a turnaround. In 2014, the Real Money auction house is closed, and Blizzard launches Reaper of Souls.
Oh yeah,
add-on praised
Reaper Souls is
almost
probably when that
unanimously.
game.
They're ready to make a second add-on to the game, but management says no.
Reaper Souls transition to the
Apparently,
Necromancer.
executives see the game as a massive failure and demand devs jump ship.
Wait, really?
The year is now 2015. The past 10 years had seen massive expansions to Warcraft, including controversial changes to the game and its mechanics. And player numbers reflect that, now being in steep decline. A growing number of players long to go back to the days of vanilla, version 1 of the game, back in 2004. One fan even floats the idea to Blizzard themselves at BlizzCon 2013. Here's how that goes.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
No.
Okay then, we'll just make one ourselves. And the fan-made Nostalrius vanilla server goes online in February 2015, running version 1.12, a month after the original launch. It's not long before the server gets massively popular, with almost 1 million accounts registered. It's also not long before Blizzard catches wind and brings the hammer down. Their lawyers sent them a cease and desist in 2016, and the server is promptly shut down. Realizing they were completely wrong about vanilla Warcraft, Blizzard do a full 180 and announce Warcraft Classic.
And then
in
they made their own.
2017.
It's always like that. It's like that for
Back
Call
in
of Duty too.
2007, Blizzard started work on a huge MMO.
Just Call of
called
Duty would
Project
just say
Titan.
they would just cancel it, and they would like
It was
remake
described as a combination of Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress, and The Sims. But development led nowhere, and 6 years later, the plug is pulled. A massive failure on Blizzard's part, and a major internal embarrassment. However, the team behind it would attempt to rework the remains of the story and assets into another project, and in 2016, Overwatch hits shelves. And it's amazing. It's critically acclaimed across the board.
It
and
really
massively
was?
popular, quickly becoming one of the most popular esports titles on the market. That, paired with their genre-pioneering card game Hearthstone back in 2014,
Till they had 1 million
now
shields
has
through the
almost
game.
100 million players, and Blizzard is looking strong. However, there are problems brewing. See, Overwatch was the last big game they'd had in the pipeline for a while, and they realised they don't have much to show off for BlizzCon 2018. So Blizzard rushes to find something to show off.
Oh, I wonder if that's why they
But-
went all in with
Fast forward
esports
to
for
November 2018, and their presentation is ready to go.
Overwatch.
They sprinkle a few niche announcements here and there, like a remastered Warcraft 3, but they have one big
Oh wait,
announcement
is this when they
centerpiece.
announced
After
the
6
mobile
long
game?
years, a brand
Yeah,
new
Immortal.
Diablo.
Bro, I think people in the crowd were literally booing.
Like, look, Diablo 2, come play the mobile game that has nothing to do.
I'm amazed, honestly. It's this bad. This is fucking insane. I don't even know like what to even say about this.
Just was wondering, is this an out of season April Fool's joke? We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC. Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
The game eventually launches. And it's
That's
bad.
what. Don't you guys have
Firstly,
phones?
it's
Like,
not even developed by Blizzard, but their
Not
Chinese
to play
partner
your shit.
NetEase. And turns out, it's monetized to the tits. It costs over $500,000 to max out a single character, and becomes the worst rated game ever on Metacritic.
how does one figure that out? Though? Like, no, there's probably
By
they probably did some
2018,
math, but like,
fans are noticing
imagine someone
something.
actually spent that much to
Activision
find
Blizzard
out.
had been creeping, and Blizzard was changing. See, back in 2013, Blizzard had bought back the remaining Vivendi shares for about $7 billion, meaning they, and by extension, Bobby Kotick, now had complete control of both Activision and Blizzard. Fast forward to 2018, and this creeping had only got worse. Because
I
of
love
the
trading
slowdown in game
fans.
releases, Blizzard's revenues are taking an absolute
Oh.
nosedive. So Blizzard steps in. It pushes the company to cut costs, and gets them to produce games at a faster pace, with Kotick apparently installing his own executives within Blizzard to ensure that happens. Apparently, tired of Blizzard's meddling, Blizzard co-founder Mike Morhaime steps down as president and CEO, and leaves the company after 27 years of work. He's succeeded by Warcraft's executive producer, J. Allen Brack. This guy.
And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you
Huh?
do, but you don't.
And as soon as this
I need some more
happens,
context for
we
that.
accelerate. The company immediately prioritizes cutting costs, and the Heroes of the Storm's development team is outright annihilated. Its esports league is also scrapped right before its 2019 season. As a result, entire teams, commentators, and support staff are suddenly left
Yeah, but
jobless.
The way they did
Despite
the esports,
2018
especially
being
for
a
like,
record year
I don't
for
think he was
Activision
talking about
profits,
Overwatch just now.
They lay off 800
But if it was like,
employees.
it
Almost
was pretty
10%.
bad. Because the fact that they made like regional, like it was like basketball or something, that was just like unnecessary. They increased the
of the
cost and
company.
everything by like,
They begin
tenfold.
rehiring the exact same jobs a couple of years later. So going into 2019, people are not happy. But turns out, over on the other side of the world, and
To be
things
fair,
are
they weren't
happening
happy
in
for like
Hong
a
Kong,
long time.
they're not good. Their government has proposed a bill that would give China more
Oh,
authority over
I know what he's about to
and
talk
that's
about.
not too popular. At the same time, Hong Kong native Blitz Chung is participating
Yeah,
in
this was all
Hearthstone's
over
esports
Twitter
league.
and YouTube.
He wins and uses the post-game interview to show his support for the protests. But as soon as he says it, something happens. See, Blizzard has a huge player base in China, and to keep that player base available to them, they have to bend over backwards for the Chinese government. So when this happens, they go scorched earth. They take the livestream down seconds after he says it, slap him with a year-long ban, and even confiscate his prize money. Even the guys
They
casting
can't say
the
his
stream
prize.
are fired.
Nah, bro, that's
It's not long
crazy.
before the internet catches wind, and people are furious.
That part I
At one
did not
point,
know about.
Even Congress members have a go. After a few days of pressure, J. Allen Brack eventually comes out. He reduces the ban to half a year and grants Blitzchung his prize money back. He also
I might
says
give
that
him his
Blizzard's
prize money back.
relationships with China had no influence on their decision. Blizzard is starting to look
Caps.
seriously not cool. So they decide to go into BlizzCon 2019 with the big guns, announcing Diablo 4 and Overwatch 2. Also, that Warcraft remaster they'd announced at the infamous 2018 BlizzCon is coming
Yeah,
out
Overwatch
next
2,
year.
I didn't even tempt.
This'll be good.
Because on PlayStation, you had to like put in like your
Back in
phone number or
2015, Blizzard
some
had set
somewhere
up a
thing.
subdivision to remaster old games, the first of which would be Warcraft 3. And in January 2020, the highly anticipated remaster launches. And, oh boy, the game is beyond terrible. Here's why. Before launch, Warcraft 3's advertising touted multiple new features. Over 4 hours of cinematic new cutscenes, more story, and new voice acting. And a complete campaign overhaul, changing the story to
The
be more
Warcraft,
in line
and
with the
I really
current
looked
Warcraft
into
lore.
it too much.
But when players log on, turns out absolutely none of this is in the game. This is after
Wait,
being
what?
advertised on the website for over a year. Liar! There's also a ton of features from the original Warcraft 3 just outright missing. Here are a few of them. No ranked play,
No.
no profiles,
No.
no account stats,
No.
no custom campaign,
No.
Wow.
no clans,
No.
No cross-region play for custom games.
The only thing I can say
There's no
that's
offline
like
play.
I'm not surprised is maybe the rank play, because
No.
in most games
possible
that
after
usually
a
take a
few
while, but
patches,
everything else should
but
have
it's
been
a
there.
little complicated.
Oh wow.
Also, after some digging, people realize the main menu background is actually a Chrome-based web app, and is taking up more of your CPU power than the actual game. Online matchmaking sucks and kicks you out all the time. This is without a way
That's
to
crazy.
reconnect, by the way.
The menu
Graphics
takes
are
up
worse than
more power
advertised.
than the actual game. It's
Treason.
crazy.
Have you lost your mind, Arthas?
The new art direction is bad. 5 of the
But I
game's
didn't know
maps are
like
exactly the
Chrome
same
can
as the
like
original,
take up
and
that
poor
much
optimization,
resources. So
tons of crashes.
I'm just
and
thinking from
countless
like when I
bugs.
used to play like Flash
top-
games, like how much of the Flash game was actually using up the computer compared to
Of
like
all
Chrome
of that,
itself.
Reforged is a mandatory update for everyone with the original game. Own the original with no intention of upgrading? Well, here's an additional 30 gigabytes of install size anyway. All of this amounts to one of the worst launches of a game in history. Within a few days of release,
Vita's got
it
super
ends up
upbeat
at
just now.
0.5 out of 10 on Metacritic.
0.5 out of 10 is wild. I didn't even know that seemed possible to get.
At the time, the lowest Metacritic score in history, before
This is
being
real
dethroned
weird.
by Diablo Immortal.
Wait,
So
what?
naturally, hordes of
What
people
did Diablo
pile in to
Immortal
request
get?
refunds.
How you get?
But
No,
wait,
there's nobody get
You've
below
booted up the game even
0.5.
just once. Sorry, you're not allowed. There's so much outcry about the
That's
game,
a joke,
however,
right?
that Blizzard eventually caves and starts actually granting refunds. The game is so bad that the entire classic games division of Blizzard is completely canned.
You're fired. Get out of here.
It also causes an
Wow.
upcoming Diablo 2 remake to be pushed back more than a year. So it's 2021, and Blizzard's reputation
know they
is
ended the whole
currently
thing.
abhorrent.
But I
Luckily,
thought the Warcraft
Overwatch
Classic
2 is
thing
just around the corner.
continues.
Oh, hold on a sec. Oh god.
'Cause I
Turns out that over the last 2 years, the
'Cause,
California
um,
Civil Rights Department had
I
been
think a few years
investigating
back I heard
Activision
people talking
Blizzard
about
due
it,
to
but
multiple
maybe that's probably
reports
just
of
some
sexual
controversy
harassment
or
from
something.
staff. And by July 2021,
Oh yeah, this was
they had
all of
enough
it. This was
evidence
on
to
like
file suit.
actual like
The
TV
lawsuit
news.
states that sexual harassment, unwanted advances, and groping are common within Blizzard, both before and after the merge. This includes the mention of an executive suite at 2013's BlizzCon. It's
That's
not a
good
nice
Fortnite
place.
dancing.
In fact, some employees literally dub it the Cosby Suite. Then there's the alleged underpaying of women, and complaints to both HR and the president repeatedly being ignored. But there was something else. The employees' breast milk. It keeps being stolen. In the lawsuit, more
What?
than one employee alleges breast milk theft. It was very clearly breast milk, in baggies with a baby's face on it, a former producer claims. One day, I went to retrieve my pumped supply at the end of the day, and it was gone. The fallout is
I don't
monumental
know,
and makes
speechless.
headlines
What?
industry-wide. Few people are
What do you-
spared.
what do you say for
Current
that?
Diablo 4 lead, gone. His character's name in Overwatch, also gone. Level designer on World
Wait,
of Warcraft,
really?
gone. His character's name in Overwatch,
His name is
also gone.
Cole Cassidy. Wasn't this McCree? I'm so lost. Oh, maybe McCree was a nickname, and then he had this full name in like story. I'm not too sure.
Level designer on World of Warcraft, gone. Head of HR, definitely gone. Warcraft League, gone. J. Allen, gone. Their chief legal, gone. The Wall Street Journal also alleges that Kotick knew about the whole thing, ignored it, and in some cases, even jumped in himself. He denies most of the allegations,
I did not.
but eventually apologizes for a one-time instance where he left a voicemail threatening to have his assistant killed.
Wait,
That's all fine then. Water under the bridge.
yo.
Sponsors like T-Mobile, Coca-Cola, Kellogg, IBM,
Oh
and
my God,
Pringles
yo, what
also
is
all
this
jump
headache?
ship from the Overwatch Esports League. And Activision Blizzard is hit with a class action lawsuit on behalf of its shareholders.
What?
Overall, the situation's not looking great. Activision Blizzard denies most of the claims, and in June 2022, they investigate themselves and find no wrongdoing.
Of course, they found that you wrong to investigate yourself.
The immediate reaction to Overwatch 2's
This ain't no
announcement was one of
self-reflection.
confusion. Overwatch 1 was a monetized game with a thriving player base and regular updates. the kind of game that doesn't need a sequel.
Monetized
So
game,
this
but
was a
it's just
strange
skins,
move.
so.
Overwatch 2's development would also mean the end of support for Overwatch 1 in 2020, with us seeing no new Overwatch content for multiple years, essentially killing the game. What? But with Overwatch 2, Blizzard reassures us it was all worth it. Just look at all this new stuff. 5v5 instead of 6v6, shiny new graphics.
Honestly, Overwatch
balancing
2
changes,
could have just been
map
like
reworks, 6
DLC
new
like
maps, 3
added.
new heroes, more than 30 new skins, a new game mode,
They
a
should
battle
have
pass and cosmetics shop, and most importantly,
like, even though they like kind of messed up like the original Overwatch, they should have like honestly kept it, and then all the stuff they were going to add from Overwatch 2, they can just add that into Overwatch 1, because there wasn't no major like overhaul that I can think of at the top of my head. And then while they're working on that, they can still produce content for the original one. But honestly, like it's just like all the it's all the shield. Like honestly, personally, I blame the all the shields.
a PvE campaign. People had been longing for a story in the
It turned
Overwatch
into like
universe,
a
and now it
hardcore
was
mobile
finally happening.
after that.
And it was ambitious. Blizzard shows off a full campaign, along with hero missions, talents, and massive skill trees unique to each hero.
Wait, what?
Hundreds of missions at launch.
And I
they
never
announced
touched.
a truly replayable campaign. And don't worry,
Oh, you're talking about
with
the campaign.
Overwatch
Okay,
2,
never mind.
Blizzard tells us they were redefining
I think
what a
did the
sequel
campaign
really
even
means.
ever come out
Overwatch 1
like in
players
general?
get all the new maps, updates, and heroes that release in Overwatch 2, and both player bases can cross-play together. The purchase of Overwatch 2
Yeah, whatever that
essentially
means.
only granting the PvE mode. Okay, sold. Players are on board. 10th of March 2022, and Blizzard has an announcement.
They really talked themselves into like
We know we said hundreds of missions.
told
at
themselves
launch,
for
but,
players to like
well,
give them
it's
the
taken
okay
a
for it.
while, so
So
we're
it's
just
pretty
going to
impressive
release the game
if you
now
look at it.
without it and add it later. Then in June, they come out again. The game's now free to play and launching in October. But anyway, on the 4th of October 2022, it goes live. There are some issues. Events are bad, tons of balancing issues, the looking for group feature is now just completely gone, but mainly, there's the new cosmetics system. In Overwatch 1, earning cosmetics was simple. Just play the game, level up, and earn loot boxes that give you skins. You could pay for them, but that was completely optional. In Overwatch
And
2,
that plan totally
things are
worked.
different. Blizzard has now slapped on a seasonal battle pass system, where the bulk of cosmetics would now be unlocked.
The
There's
ball.
also a
Ooh.
rotating store, and the prices there aren't great. You can unlock skins for free through the challenge system, but there's a problem. It takes about 8 months to get one. A simple character recolor takes almost 4 weeks. All of this means that it will take you around 327 years to get all the stuff you could get relatively quickly for free in Overwatch
Even though
1.
a lot of people
Better get
like
playing.
really hate loot boxes with passion, like some cases it works. Like in this case, if they kept it, it would have worked.
Also, there's now a new hero every other season, and they'd be locked behind the later levels of the season pass. Your options are, spend every minute of your life grinding for them, or pay up.
Give me money.
In Overwatch 1, they were unlocked straight away. Fans don't take kindly to these changes. But then in May
Yeah, that's
2023,
kind of dumb. So
Blizzard comes out again. So, cut PvP
the Blizzard logo is damaged. Yo, that Blizzard logo, it's been damaged.
hero
Surprised it's
campaign,
even half of it's still there.
advertising, and was pretty much the sole reason we made the sequel.
Just took in the stains on the suit. Ew, what is that?
Pretty much completely scrapped. No more talent trees or hero missions. Instead, we're just gonna pepper some PvE missions around every few seasons. This was essentially the entire selling point of the sequel.
They use
Some
this
of the
guy.
remaining story content is still planned, with its first release on August 10th. But when it finally releases, it's only 3 missions. Blizzard is saying the game won't be getting any more story missions until at least 2024. They also add Overwatch 2 to Steam, and it instantly becomes the worst reviewed game of all time there.
Not surprising, to be honest.
The year is now 2023, and Blizzard's reputation has never been worse. So when Diablo 4's release approaches, people are cautious. But on the 5th of June, the game launches,
Double for
and it's surprisingly good. There are some issues here and there, but reviews are mostly
Yeah,
positive,
I haven't
and over
really heard
10
anything
million
too much
people
bad
logged
things
in and
about Dolver
played,
before.
making
When it first
Diablo
released.
4 Blizzard's fastest selling game of all
Later
time.
on,
For the
there's
first
people complaining
time
about something,
in
but I
years,
forgot
things
what it
are actually
was.
looking up. And this game was live service, meaning it would receive 3 seasons of content for the foreseeable future. The first of which was launching in July. A month later, and in July, Season 1 of the game drops. It is disastrous.
Oh,
And Reddit
yeah,
goes into a
there
complete
it is.
meltdown. Turns out, everything gets a big nerf, including the Metacritic score. The Sorcerer class, which was already underpowered, is hit especially hard. Then there's the enemies being overpowered, much less XP, a bunch of reskinned dungeons and enemies, barely any new content, and zero quality.
That's not Game Pass. All it's been called.
Everything here is wrong.
One streamer on Twitch tries to explain why the season isn't that bad. Here's how that goes.
Explosion is at. I
Oh,
actually just lost my hardcore character while trying to explain this to you. I changed my mind. I hate this season.
And it seems Blizzard
yo, I would be screaming. Oh, that was wild.
it also has a bit of a fixation on the
Battle Pass, Battle Pass, Battle Pass, Battle Pass, Battle Pass, Battle Pass.
Speaking of which, it gives paid players 666 platinum. The cheapest item in the store is 800. Also, back when Blizzard was designing the menus for the game, they decided to place the Activate Premium Battle Pass button right next to the button you're constantly pressing to see your season progression.
Ooh, that's kind of small.
There's also no confirmation button, so if you want to check your progression and accidentally misclick, congratulations, you've just purchased it. There are multiple other confirmation buttons for other menu options in the game. So
That's
Blizzard's last few
crazy.
years haven't been great.
Somehow, Blizzard is now worse than Bethesda.
It had slowly become clear to people, with overreach from Activision, more fiscal concern, and most of the original talent having left the company, among other things. Maybe Blizzard wasn't the company it once was, and after a back-to-office mandate in 2023, even more talent is leaving. So much talent that Blizzard is now actually creating crisis maps for what content they can and can't get done. But with the acquisition from Microsoft, who's currently focusing on making good it can't get done. But with the acquisition crisis
maps what we can or cannot ship. Like when it says crisis, I'm thinking about like the game. Like, is it like that, or is this just like a term? Like the actual word crisis.
for what content they can and can't get done. But with the acquisition from Microsoft, who's currently focusing on making good exclusives to slap on their Game Pass, some fans are hopeful for change. But for now, the outlook on
did they
Blizzard
make Crisis?
Entertainment
No, right?
remains bleak.
Nah,
And don't forget
he
about
will
the
mention
epic,
it if they did.
action-packed War Thunder free-to-play PvP vehicle game. Sign up through the link in the description or comments for a big bonus.
Okay, I think the rest of this just his little War Thunder ad. Yeah, oh no, it's just blank. Well, yeah, this video was very informative.
Here's one thing you need to do before you buy anything online. Don't spend another dime on Amazon.
Yeah, so like, to summarize this video is basically this meme for everything that Blizzard's doing. Can they recover? I'm not too sure because like Double 4 they already kind of like fumbled their like monetizations and like progression array. But honestly, like the way they monetize stuff, you can always change. So they can change that and then add in more content, fix how amount of coins you get. So like a lot of stuff with Double 4 they could just like reverse. So honestly, if they don't recover from Double 4, like that's on them. And then in terms of like future IPs, I don't know this. This Black Ops. I know like Black Ops is like Activision, but like since they're like so closely together, like I actually no, I don't think that would count. See what happens. Hopefully no no Overwatch 3. That's just not gonna do anything. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.